was telling you before about Finn McCool, the great hero of Ireland. He had two wondrous hounds that he would use for hunting. Bran was the one of them, as white as snow off a hilltop in the winter, and Seolán, who was black as a chunk of coal or the heart of the devil itself. These two grand hounds he would take out hunting, and they never failed but bring him back with a grand trophy. There was one time, though, he was out with these two hounds, and didn't they start a beautiful fawn that ran out? It was a doe fawn. It skipped through the woods with great speed and agility. Any other hounds would have lost this, but not Seolán, not Bran. They kept after this deer until they finally were beside of it, but they didn't go in for the kill. Finn was amazed to see that they were driving it before them. It would try to turn to the right, and Seolán would stop it and brack it off. It turned to the left. Bran would bracket it off, until finally they drove it back, until they were at his own stronghold in the hill of Allen. They drove that deer right inside of the gates, and as soon as that deer stepped across the gateway and crossed the threshold into the stronghold, it turned into a beautiful young woman. Finn was amazed to see this beauty. She told him her whole story. She had been bewitched by an evil wizard who wanted her for his wife, but she would not have him. And she could not leave now, for she would fall back under his spell and be turned back into a deer. But as long as she stayed in that safety, she was not to be harmed. She and Finn spent long times together, deep in love with each other. But eventually the word came down that there had been a threat on the coast, and Finn McCool had to lead his men down to that coast to fight off the enemy. While he was gone, that evil wizard found out about her hiding place. "Sabh," said he, for that was her name. "Sabh, come out. Your man has been killed in that battle." She dashed out to go to his aid, but as soon as she crossed the threshold, she turned back into a deer. When she realized what had happened, she dashed into the woods and was never seen again by the men of that threshold. When Finn McCool returned victorious, he found out what had happened. He saddled his greatest horse, went out with Seolán and Bran to try and hunt down this woman who had turned back into a deer. And many's the long, cold, hard month he searched for her, but never did he come across her again. He had just given up on his search when, returning, didn't he come across a small boy, just a wee babby, lying in the ground. Seolán and Bran led him to that babby, and he realized from the look of it, the fawn-like hair of it, that this was his son by this woman, this dear woman. He brought the child back to his stronghold at the hill of Allen. He named him Oisin, and it is Oisin who would grow up to be one of the greatest heroes of Ireland and one of its greatest poets, and the only one of the Fine who would survive to the time of St. Patrick to tell him of the great glories of the Fenian soldiers. Agus sin é mo scéal, and that is my story.